Okay. Hi, I'm Mike Engel, the new president of the Society of Oshkosh Brewers. Pretty color.
Wow. Okay, Mike, before we get rolling here, I think we should clarify something. So
Yes.
we're going to be using the acronym S.O.Bs numerous times through this conversation.
Okay.
So S.O.Bs, for the uninitiated, means Society of Oshkosh Brewers.
Right.
Now, it also, son of a bitch, which some Society of Oshkosh Brewers are, so it fits both
Most
ways.
of us, I think.
But mostly when we're saying S.O.Bs, we're referring to Society of Oshkosh Brewers, which is a
Right.
homebrew club started in Oshkosh in 1991.
Yes.
But before we get into the Society of Oshkosh Brewers and your part in the Society of Oshkosh Brewers, let's talk about this beer a little bit. Yeah, so this is a Scotch ale that was brewed by several S.O.Bs, 6 S.O.Bs. Some of them are members of the club. And they're calling it the Fellowship of the Barrel 6 Guys Brewing Company. And they brewed this Scotch ale, big beer, aged it in a 14-year-old bourbon barrel. And this is from 2015. So this is now just about 2 years old. So
it's wonderful.
Yeah.
It's good way to start the day.
your aroma in here is fantastic. I mean, the bourbon really comes up.
Wow.
I don't know how strong that is, but it's strong enough.
It's got to be at least 12.
There's something happening there. It's good.
This was barrel aged in a
14-year-old bourbon barrel.
those
Scotch.
notes.
Yeah.
Those notes are coming through.
Yeah, it's really a great beer. Okay, so back to the S.O.Bs.
Sure.
So you joined the club about 2003, 2004?
Let's see. It's probably been. I came to Oshkosh. Well, probably 27 years ago. So. And then right away, I was drawn to one of the meetings when they held an old tavern, at which I can't remember.
J.J. Fiddlers, maybe?
J.J. Fiddlers
Yeah, okay.
on Oregon Street. And totally different
Yeah.
makeup of, what they were back then to what we
Much
are.
smaller.
Much
Yeah,
smaller.
yeah.
Mhm.
But so like in 2006, you officially became the president of the club.
Okay. Well,
And-
you wrote a great article, which is on the S.O.B site. I mean, that was a
that's
fantastic
yeah.
article. That'll tell, for people wanting to know more about how the club started and how it, went through the years. And, just go to our website, realsob.org, and check it out.
And you were the club president up until a couple of years ago, when you decided not to run again.
Yes.
And this year you decided to throw your name back on the ballot.
I did. Actually, someone
You get
nominated me,
Yeah.
and I thought about that for a while, and okay, why not?
Which proves, so you're elected club president again this year, and proving you are a glutton for punishment.
Some people have said that, yes.
So, what do you think? I mean, why did you want to do this again?
Well, I mean, I really liked, working with the group of people that the Society of Oshkosh Brewers have become. I mean, way back when things were good, well, way back things were not so good, as they could read in that article. But over the years, when I was president, I had a great team with me on the board, and everyone just clicked. We did some great things, and resulting in I think we had over 80 people on the roster. Now I think there might be between 30 and 35. So, I think the last couple of years I've had a chance to sit back and not having to think about, okay, what are we going to do for this meeting? And there was some work to be done there
Right.
prior to each meeting. But so you pick out things that you think the club should be doing, and some of that I thought went by the wayside. Again, we lost a good percentage of the members, and there could be one reason or other for that. But so I decided, well, I'd like to get, I mean, there's a good team on the board right now, and I'm anxious. We did have one board meeting, and so I'm anxious to work with them kind of to do things that we'll bring members back and keep them interested.
Let's get back to, like, okay, so where some of this change started taking place a couple years ago was after Cask and Caskets was shut down.
Yes.
So Cask and Caskets was a homebrew festival for charity, all homebrewed beer. The first one was in Oshkosh in 2012, and then 2013, 2014.
Yes.
2014, after Cask and Caskets, why don't you tell what happened after 2014?
Well, a great venue which we had the Cask and Caskets on was we used the Oshkosh Convention Center. And
well-attended event.
Well attended. Well, I think we did a great job in publicizing the event. I mean, we were on radio. We had TV stations, the 2 or 3 TV stations contact me personally. We had live feeds from the convention center. I mean, it was fantastic. So we did a great job in promoting the event, and we had, I think, between 400 and 500 people.
Yeah, there were, I'd say, at least 400 people at that event.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we were all really happy that the event went so well.
And then the morning after.
In the morning after, I got an email or a call from the representative at the convention center, and they said, well, we'd like to talk to you about a letter that we received from the state. And it was basically going back to these laws. I mean, we had the law changed to allow homebrew to be taken outside the home. That's one of the things that we had done.
Yeah, prior to 2012, it was illegal in the state of Wisconsin, at least under the way the law was interpreted, to take homebrew outside of your home.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so now you can take it into, outside the home. You can take it to taverns. I mean, anywhere really, but you couldn't sell it. And that law probably will not change at all. So the hotel and convention center received a letter stating that, we know you've done this. Actually, we think someone turned us in. And that it's really a shame because over the years, 3 years that we've done this, we've raised $20,000 to go to charity.
Yeah, and that's an important point because the money from that festival never went into the pockets of any of the homebrewers. Everyone donated all their equipment, all their beer, all their time. Exactly. All that money went to charity. So, I mean, yes, the beer was, in fact, you had to pay to get that beer, but all the money went to charity. There was nobody taking money.
Well, we've, we had live entertainment. We had, raffles and this and that, and but so let's go on with the story in terms of. So they get a letter saying that you've had this. We talked it over with our lawyers and our people at the state, and we said that this is not. You can't do this. It's against the law. And the law states, and I'm going back to the statutes, I really went over this thing with a fine-tooth comb, is that anywhere, if you have an event like this, you cannot charge admission.
There can be no money standing in the way.
Money. Yeah. And even some of the beer festivals, and I really, when I think about it, it gets me, my blood boiling because now the Fond du Lac Brew Fest, they had a great homebrew island. The Great Lakes Brew Fest, which happened in September, they have, and I don't mind talking about it because I think it's an injustice to that the state is doing.
Yeah.
So, but by that token and by those statutes, all those festivals that have homebrew are against,
it's selective enforcement is what it really is.
Yeah.
And what happened, I mean, with the S.O.Bs is the club had always, I'm a member of the club, I should say, I'm not impartial here at all.
and an S.O.B.
Both. The club had been involved in all sorts of events, Brews and Blues every year. We would be in all sorts, and that whole thing, when they came in and said, they kind of picked us out and said that's the end of that, really kind of put a damper on the club. That there's been much less involvement in local events. There's been much less of a public profile.
Right.
Is that something that you'd like to see return? And how do you do that?
You mean
get back into community involvement?
Well, we're going to do Cask and Caskets. So let's go back to the letter, okay?
Okay.
And because maybe then the viewers will understand why this happened, why we didn't go back right away. The letter basically said that we're not going to do anything to the hotel right now, but because you had this event at your facility, and it's against the statutes and the laws of Wisconsin, if you do this again, if you choose to do this again, and admission is charged, we'll take away your license away.
Yeah, which no one is going to take a chance on.
Well, exactly, and that's, it took us a while. So I was the coordinator of the event as well, and so we went back and forth with the management at the hotel and said that in the convention center, and said, and actually met with the person that sent the letter, and I don't know his title right now, but we said, okay, we will actually run an event like this without an admission charge. And they said, that's okay. And the hotel said, that's okay. But the cost to rent that hotel, or, half of the convention center grew to, I think it was in the, between about $1,500, $1,700 just for that evening.
Sure.
And if we wanted to run that event, that would take away what we could give to charity.
Mm-hmm.
And the timing wasn't right. We just, that fell by the wayside. Yeah. We didn't. We didn't go to town.
But now, the club is talking again about running Cask and Caskets in 2017.
Yes.
So how do you get around the whole money situation?
We don't charge admission.
Nothing. So, and I know this hasn't all been worked out yet, but how would people get into it then? Because you couldn't just invite everyone to come, because everyone would hear free beer and you'd quickly run out of free beer.
Exactly. And it's, the state told us, if you're going to do this, it's going to be a suggested donation. That's the only way you can do it. So if someone wanted to come in and not put anything into the bucket, whatever, they didn't have to. So people could just walk in off the street for free. So what we're going to do, we've got a great email list of people that had attended past events. Mm-hmm. We're going to work with that. We're not going to, we're not going to publicize it to the extent that we've done in the past. Yeah. And so we're still working out those. How to do that.
And we'll when that approaches, we'll get together again. Once this has all been ironed out, we'll talk again. But I think there's something interesting here. So Cask and Caskets, the first one in 2012, that was the first beer festival in Wisconsin that was all homemade beer.
All homebrewed.
That's pretty amazing with Wisconsin's long history of beer making, that this is the first festival of all homebrew. Now, if this comes off in 2017, I think this is probably going to be Wisconsin's first free beer festival. Which, that's an accomplishment.
It's an event for charity. But no, we're probably one of the first in the state, and possibly the country, that has ever done an event like this. Yeah. Was able to charge admission and offer wine, beer, cider, mead, all homebrewed.
Yeah. Well, and the thing about it is, like, the way beer festivals are now, there's very few times you go to a beer festival now and you haven't had something you've had before.
Right.
You go to a festival like this, there's nothing there you've had before. Exactly. There's nothing there you're going to ever have again. So.
Well, we still get, I personally get emails saying that, and then when I see people, off the street and whatever, they're saying, where did that go? We want it back.
Yeah.
We have no other opportunity to taste these wild styles.
You don't get these, unless you know a home brewer that's into doing these things.
Exactly.
So that's a ways off.
Yeah.
But
we are meeting already. We have a committee for that, and we're up starting in the planning stages for that. So,
and we should say, the meetings for the Society of Oshkosh Brewers are every third Wednesday at O'Marro's Public House. And anybody that's interested in home brewing or just interested in beer in general is welcome to come to those meetings.
Yes, exactly. And we're doing something a little bit different. We want to do something a little bit different this year. Is we want to include some of the areas great tap rooms, breweries, and so forth. So we're going to start swinging that meeting around
Nice.
to these other facilities. So
Now I'm going to put you on the spot. What's the date of the next meeting? March, the third Wednesday in March.
I can pull up my phone and look it up on your calendar.
Third Wednesday in March, and that's going to be at.
And that's going to be at Fox River
Brewing Company in the tap room at Fox River.
In the tap room, yes. Mm-hmm.
So anybody that's interested in like seeing what the club's about, that's a good opportunity.
Great opportunity. We're going to do something. I guess what we wanted to do is to find out what the membership really is looking for in a homebrew club. So everybody that comes to the meeting, and we're going to have a paper survey at the meeting, and with a list of not maybe 10 or less questions on asking new members, old members, what are we doing right, what are we doing wrong, what would you like to see, and so using that information, we can come up with the rest of the year.
So if you're a home brewer,
Yep.
And you've never been in a club, what's the benefit of being in a homebrew club? I mean, what do you see as the benefit?
There are many benefits, as well as a social benefit, and I can get back to that. But I guess it's seeing. Well, actually, we've got a lot of wealth. The wealth of information in this club is fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got brewers for starting up to many years. I mean, you have many years of brewing. You're a great source of information, as is. I mean, look, we have this barrel aged, and it's a fantastic. I mean, this could be an award-winning beer.
It's going right to my head.
Well, it's good you're propping yourself up.
I should have ate some breakfast.
So, and where were you?
No, well, the benefits of being in a homebrew club.
The benefit of being in a homebrew, the information, wealth of information, meeting and getting up in the meeting and saying, I've got an issue with kegging, all my gas is leaking, I've got, my beers turn out bad, so that's a place where people can stand up and say, well, I have this question, and people will work through it.
Yeah.
The social aspect, this year we'd like to get more of the family members involved. We're talking about doing some, we have a picnic at the park every year, which is a well-attended event, and we want to do a few more things like that.
Well, and I guess the first thing that's going to happen that anybody, the public's welcome to come to is Big Brew Day.
Big Brew Day, a fantastic event.
So that's May 6th.
First Saturday in May.
Yeah.
If you go to our website, I believe we have some videos on there.
Sure.
About Big Brew Day, and it's just a culmination of the year, and we're actually members of the American Homebrew Association, and they've set aside this day for homebrewers across the country to band together.
You just keep
get
talking.
as many people as. Don't drink it all. Get as many people together and brew in a parking lot. For many years we have met in the parking lot at Amaro's, and we've had how many systems, and that could be from as small as just you brew like a three gallon batch.
Yeah, you do 3 gallon batches.
Members brew 10 gallon batches there, and just
everything you can imagine as far as.
And it's a great time for people to get together, see what everyone else is doing.
Yeah.
And it's just the camaraderie of people.
And this year it's going to be at the Cellar.
At the Cellar.
So we're at the Cellar Homebrew Shop in Oshkosh.
We are now, yes.
Is this 1921 South Washburn?
Don't
take my word for that.
That sounds
I don't know.
familiar, yes.
But South Washburn for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Cellar Brew Shop, and that's going to be Saturday, May 6th.
Yes.
And that starts, people usually start brewing around 9 a.m.
People get here 8
Yeah.
somewhere now, but yeah, 9 is when we're going to be starting.
And anyone's welcome to come down, check it out.
Anyone's welcome to come down.
See what it's all about.
We're planning on having some food there. The club will pay for some brats, burgers, that type of thing,
Yeah.
and then everybody tends to bring in their own side dish.
Okay, so we should kind of wrap this up because I'm getting drunk.
Already?
I'm a lightweight. I don't know.
Have
But no,
breakfast next time.
there's something I want to ask you. So you've been brewing now for 20 plus years?
Oh
Homebrewing?
yes, over 25 years.
How have you seen this all change in that time? I mean, it's
Homebrewing in general.
Yeah.
Homebrewing in general. Equipment. Now you can buy a tabletop. And I'm not saying that's a good thing, you know, but it allows more people just
like a Pico brew system.
Pico brew system, convenience. I've got a Grainfather, which is an electric system, and you can brew it anywhere in the house. You don't have gas,
that's nice.
and you know you've got the house. I mean, my wife.
All the
probably
flavor, none of
doesn't-
the danger.
Exactly, exactly. The mess is kind of still there.
Yeah.
But I think we're seeing a lot of different hops.
Oh, yeah.
It's just an amazing time. I mean, they're yeast, the powdered yeast or the dry yeast
yeah.
has I mean, some really good stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, the way they're doing that, and but I mean, you see these days. I mean, the standard way of brewing is still the same. You know, you have to mash, you have to boil, and you have to add hops. But I think the equipment and the type of hops, the type of grains, and we have. I mean, here at the cellar, for example, there's so many varieties of grain.
I just noticed how you continually refer to hops.
I'm a happy guy.
You are, man.
So just for the club, I'm looking forward to a great year, and I thank you for allowing me to come to the
We'll do
studio.
this again. We'll do this again. Our studio, wherever we are.
Yeah. So, and I should tell the folks you've upgraded your gear. So if there's a great look and the audio,
I'll fuck it up no matter what I'm working with. Believe me, it doesn't matter. Okay,
great.
Mike. Well, cool. We'll do this again soon.
Thanks, Lee.
Prost.
You bet.